Alright, Teru, another spy log coming for y'all, and welcome to episode 3 of the series, in which I'm picking up right where I left off and tackling that transition point where the camera kind of goes through the mask and views the hammer. I wanted to make this a bit of a more smoother transition rather than just a kind of a jump cut in between the two, and that's what I'm working on here. So to start this off, I wanted to focus on rendering out the scene and putting a different type of texture on the interior of the visor mask by adding a green texture with pink X's, and this would kind of help with tracking data. That leads me to the tracking data, which is what I needed to get to kind of be able to place the visor in front of the mask. So to do this, I took the rendered scene out and then brought it into After Effects and let it do a camera analysis to kind of give me points to be able to track off of. So once I got those points, as you can see, those X's kind of worked in my favor there. I was able to use that to pin the actual screen itself onto to kind of give it a 3D look and post that in front of the actual visor. So the next thing to work on was making the actual screen that you're going to see through the visor itself. And so to start this off, I wanted to take a screenshot of the very first frame that we see the hammer on and kind of add some UI elements such as the time, the date, a little bit of a live feed notification with a little red symbol there, and then just the camera number, just to kind of make it feel more like a CCTV camera and like a windowed view that's just on screen. And that way I can zoom into it and use that as the main transition point. And for the backdrop behind it, I didn't want it to just be a white or plain colored, so I actually went into Maya, positioned the camera right where the helmet would be seeing, and took another screenshot. And the reason being is I can use that as the background, so it looks like you can actually see through the visor. There's just electronic elements on the screen itself. And what I ended up needing to do was actually stretch this image out, as you're going to see here in a little bit, but due to the image just being a little bit too small for the actual visor, because the visor wraps around like 180 degrees. So in order to get an image that was going to cover that entire wraparound, I needed to extend it on both sides and kind of stretch that image just a little bit. Now, drawing a little bit of inspiration from Halo, as the visor itself is I believe it's a Halo visor prop, I wanted there to be like a little bit of a radar in the bottom left, so that's what I'm kind of working on here, adding a little bit of a homemade radar with a little bit of a grid inside of it, just to kind of give it, I guess a reference to Halo, but also just to give it those tactical UI elements, because Gladys as a character is very tactical, he's very strategic, he's got all the gadgets and the the intel to be able to help him to get the edge on everybody else. So I just wanted the interior of the helmet to really showcase that there's many more systems going on, and that it's not just a piece of fancy wear, that he puts on his face. It actually has a tactical reasoning behind its use. So the next thing I wanted to do is add like a view mode, which you'll see at the top here, and I add a couple of different modes just to kind of give the helmet, again, more UI elements, making it feel more futuristic and techy, but also just to show what all it can do. You see, adding thermal vision and night vision, I'm making it futuristic. My movies haven't really been grounded in a real sense of reality with all the whacked out technology that's in it, but I just wanted to make it feel like it had a lot more going on than just the bare minimum. So adding the cybernetics and the memory matrix is kind of a thing that's a reference to what he said, because he is kind of a duplication, so to speak, kind of like his memories are continually uploaded into the next model, so he can never really permanently die, and that memory matrix is just basically indicating that is connected and transmitting. Now this last bit was pretty much just testing where those UI elements needed to be in order to be on the center of the mask, so that when you actually zoom in, you can actually see it and it's not just useless on the side. So I had to move some things around and shrink them a bit to make them more visible so they could actually be seen in the actual animation itself. Now, the last part here was to actually just re-render the scene, but with an entirely plain green interior of the mask. And the reason it's green is so that I can use the key light effect and basically remove it from the video shot. So when I key out the green, it's basically like using a green screen on the interior, and that'll allow me to see the 3D image that I'm projecting behind it as the screen. And as you can see here, I'm just going to add that key to it and do a little bit of adjusting on the colors to maintain its accuracy. And you can see how you can kind of see right through that visor now. And now you can kind of see the other side, you see that image, and make it look more like an electronic screen on the interior. Lastly, I wanted to add a little bit of a wave warp effect, which you can see me doing now, just to kind of give it more of a screen feel to it, so it doesn't just feel so static. and then I added a little bit of a green solid in front of it, just to kind of, again, make it have a computerized feel and make it feel like it's an actual screen and not just a a picture sitting in front, essentially. But lastly, I just needed to work on adding a little bit of a transition in between the two, which is what you can see me doing here, just experimenting with a couple of different effects, just to try and give it a bit of a smoother transition in. And the last little bit here is just me adding in some additional text to the scene. I wanted to add some text when you actually enter the pistol, so that way there's a little bit more than just blank empty space. So this is just me adding in a little bit of extra text to pop out at the screen. And now that brings us to the final product, and I hope you guys enjoy. And that's the current result. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think it's not perfect. I don't think anything I ever make is perfect. There's always some more tweaks and things that can be done, but just for the sake of my own sanity and for the desire of everyone to actually see the film, I'm happy with where it's at. And I think it's really good. It's a large step up from what I used to be able to do, and I'm very proud of what I was able to create. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed Spylog behind the effects and just seeing the overall process and how I'm working to just kind of take it to the next level by adding different effects and different things and trying to make new content, better content, just improve things. Please leave me a comment down below on what you think of the process, what you think of the video style, and what you think of the animation itself. Is it good? Is it bad? You know, what would you change? What do you like? What don't you like? I appreciate it all. I love being able to respond to you guys, and I'll see all y'all in the next video.